It's
I
time.
wonder what time it is, Kit. Kit, that's getting so excited for.
It's Tulsi time. There we go. Tulsi time right there. Do we have the other one?
You want this one?
Yeah, there we go.
The surfing one?
It's Tulsi
He's
Gabbard.
very impressed with the surfing.
Yep, he is.
So impressed.
So
that
impressed.
He's going to go Magic Harp.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So why is it Tulsi time? Well, first, before we talk about Representative Tulsi Gabbard, we got to talk about somebody who finally wormed her way back into the election cycle. And I always knew that Clinton, former Secretary Hillary Clinton, would come back into this election cycle one way or another. And I have my own personal opinion about the 2016 election cycle as a whole. I feel that she wasn't a legitimate candidate. The DNC committed election fraud during the 2016 election primary. And yet corporate media was drumming the music that, oh, it's her turn and she's going to beat Trump and, you know, let's disregard Bernie Sanders and progressives. And how did it all turn out for everybody? But now, because all this talk about impeachment and the fact that Trump could potentially be impeached, which I really doubt is going to happen at all, there was talk about all of that on a recent podcast today. It was Campaign HQ with a person named David Pulffe. Plouffe. I don't know. Well,
Let's just say poof.
Ploof, whatever. So 35 minutes into the podcast.
Sounds like a hairdo.
Yeah, something like that. So basically,
Can you get me one of those
I want a ploof.
yeah, whatever. So
That one guy I read in the news, one of
yeah.
those.
So
Get me one of those, but bigger. And
Sorry,
hard.
keep interrupting.
right, I know you are interrupting, Paul. What is up with you today, man? So
Everything's funny.
So here's what's going on. Throughout the entire podcast, we talk about Russiagate and how Trump's so much of a corrupt individual and that he's guilty of X, Y, and Z. Then they mentioned, and it's 35 minutes into the podcast, and I do recommend you check it out. They ask about third parties, or the interview asked Hillary Clinton about third parties. And here's what Hillary Clinton said. They are going to do, being Russia, they are going to do third party again. I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on someone who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. They have a bunch of sites and bots and other ways of supporting her so far. And that's assuming Jill Stein will give it up, which she might not because she's also a Russian asset. Yeah, she's a Russian asset. I mean, totally. They know they can't win without a third-party candidate, so I don't know who it's going to be, but I will guarantee you they will have a vigorous third-party challenge in the key states that they most need. Now, let me just wrap up that quote. I think so.
You're in
Quota
debt,
exceeded.
Kit's in debt.
I know. Here's my problem with this. First, number one, Jill Stein's not in the Green Party election cycle right now. Like, she's not one of the major candidates. So, Hillary Clinton, have you been paying attention, or are you still stuck in time in 2016?
My life ended when I went into the woods in 2016.
Yeah, maybe she's still in the woods. Number two, Tulsi Gabbard's part of the Democratic Party, and there's an article, too, that came out months ago where if she would lose the nomination, she wasn't going to run as a third-party candidate. So where's your evidence and proof? Number three, Tulsi Gabbard has been proven time and time again that she has no ties to Russia, that she's not a Assad apologist. So I actually got a quote from Representative Tulsi Gabbard.
Before you read her quote,
Yeah.
I would like to remind everyone, because I think personally, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I think math is important. I think that's kind of useful in day-to-day things.
Yeah.
If you took all the people that voted for the Green Party,
Might as well add in the libertarians too, man.
No, and gave them to the Democrats, and you took all the libertarians that voted for libertarians and gave them to Republicans, Trump would have won by a bigger lead. So I want to remind people, we know a lot of people in the Green Party. The Green Party hates the Democratic Party more than the Republicans hate the Democratic Party because of people like this. Imagine for a second if you're in the Green Party and every time you tell that to any Democrat, they tell you you're worth less than shit. Oh, that's a part. Well, if I didn't vote for Jill Stein, I would have definitely voted for the party that told me I was worth less than shit. This is the situation the Green Party finds themselves in. The Democrats, if they actually cared and weren't vindictive, the people that are, I don't want to call everyone in, by simply not talking about the Greens, you get more of them to vote for you.
Yeah, but there's a lot more to this, too, because the thing is, this goes on to this this constant smear campaign that's been going on to represent Tulsi Gabbard. And the thing is, look, I believe we need to be critical of our candidates. I believe be critical of Bernie Sanders, Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard. I've said this time and time again, including all the progressive candidates that are running in this congressional election cycle too. But the last thing I'm going to stand for is direct insult, especially towards a candidate where there's no proof or evidence of your said accusations. Where's the proof that Tulsi Gabbard's a Russian spy? Where's your proof that she's an Assad apologist? Where's your proof that she's got this great, evil Saturday morning cartoon logic that she's somehow going to destroy the 2020 election cycle? You don't have any proof. What this is the DNC still angry that Representative Tulsi Gabbard showed the political courage, the moral courage, the American courage to basically step up and acknowledge that there was election fraud happening in 2016. It was there. The DNC and Clinton campaign were working together to deny Bernie Sanders a nomination. And Representative Tulsi Gabbard did something that the DNC or even the RNC could never do, and that is step down as second in command vice chair of the DNC. So I have a direct quote from Representative Tulsi Gabbard from Hillary Clinton's statements. This is from Representative Tulsi Gabbard, a tweet from today. Great. Thank you, at Hillary Clinton. You, the queen of warmongers, the embodiment of corruption and personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party for so long, have finally come out from behind the curtain. From the day I announced my candidacy, there has been a concerted campaign to destroy my reputation. We wondered who was behind it and why. Now we know. It was always you, through your proxies and powerful allies in corporate media and the war machine. Afraid the threat I pose, it's now clear that this primary is between you and me. Don't cowardly hide behind your proxies. Join the race directly. And you know what? I have to say, finally, someone actually has the courage to stand up to Hillary Clinton. Representative Tulsi Gabbard does something that the rest of the DNC is so afraid to do. They're going to fall in line. And I also have a super chat here. Befo saying Tulsi is with Russia is an insult to all who served or is currently serving. What pisses me off more are all the voters who believe this crap. And I can't agree with that more. I am a former veteran. I did 2 tours in Iraq. I served in the United States Marine Corps. And the insult, and look, you could be a Republican veteran, you could be whatever, to all the armed service people in the United States, whether you see this show or not, whether you're libertarian, Republican, conservative, Democrat, socialist, green, independent, I don't care. The way corporate media has been smearing Representative Tulsi Gabbard is a direct insult to everyone who's put on that uniform. They're calling her a traitor. After 16 years of loyal service in the Hawaiian National Guard? Really? You're going to say that? But corporate media keeps on saying, we got to respect the troops. If you served overseas, we got to respect the troops. The DNC and RNC respect the troops. But as soon as someone challenges the war machine, as soon as someone challenges the neoliberal, neoconservative machine that's corrupting our democracy, oh, Russian spy, they're weird. We don't know who they are. Really? This is why we got to get involved in this election cycle. And this is why we have to really change this corrupt system we have, because the corporate media is a monopoly. It's owned, all the media here in the country is owned by 6 major corporations. This is why we need independent media. This is why me, Daniel, Paul, Laney, Eric, and everyone else here at Heartlands Media started this thing up. This is why you should also support other independent media channels. And this is why you should also support independent content creators on social media, because corporate media wants to feed us this little soup of neoliberalism and everything's okay and that we could go back to brunch. Aren't you angry? I'm angry because you know what? Let's look at the bigger picture. The way they're attacking Tulsi Gabbard, as soon as she's done the race, I hate saying that, but there's eventually going to be an end to this primary. Imagine what they're going to do to Bernie Sanders and all of the other progressives and independents that are running for congressional seats. Remember, the DCCC said this: we're going to support the incumbents. We got to support the incumbents. We can never support any independents or progressive challengers. They're going to do that to all the other progressives and independents. We got to stand up because finally we see a leader stepping up, and that's what Tulsi Gabbard did. I snapped. I got angry. I know Paul and Daniel want to add in their 2 cents, so go ahead, guys.
That's
Sorry.
some passion right there.
That's good.
I'm angry. I served in the military, dude. You're going to say
Yeah.
that Tulsi Gabbard's this great spy? Look, I like Saturday morning cartoons too, but let's look at real life. This is BS from CNN and MSNBC and from the DNC.
And I want to add, but Clinton should know. I mean, she served 2 decades in the Marines or something like that. Wait, no, never mind. She's never. In fact, I remember that when she was she treats the military personnel and Secret Service like crap. That's what I've heard a lot. There's been a number of books written about that. So I mean, Hillary, come on, you're bitter. That's it. You didn't get what you wanted. Your Machiavellian strategy of looking into government, jumping off of your husband's career, didn't pan out. You weren't the first woman president. You're off in the woods. You're bitter. You're everything that you wanted. You wanted to be the first woman president. You wanted to be this. You wanted basically your Frank Underwood in another skin. This is hysterical. This is hysterical that she is so bitter. And we know she has a shit list. We know she had like everyone ranked from 1 to 7 or something with her and Bill.
We're probably going to be on that shit list.
I don't care. That's my goal in life, is to keep off that list. But this is how small Hillary Clinton really is, that she can't get over the second in command of the DNC that she handpicked that left and joined her opponent. Years later, not even in politics, she can't let it go. What a small person. What a pathetic human. What a person that only went forward because of momentum that was given by someone else. She's someone that should have never gotten into politics, but she had a husband that was a governor, and she worked on Walmart's board, and she sold her soul, and she didn't get her full payment as she requested, and she's upset, and it's everyone's fault but their own. So for her, someone that betrayed her, who cares if she takes a hero and turns her into a villain? She doesn't like them, and she's so small that this eats at her. I'm sure every single day that she wakes up, she thinks about the people that she blames for her failure because she is incapable this far in her life, and perhaps ever, to actually, truly, honestly take responsibility for the people that she's killed through her policies, through the failure of reaching a level that, frankly, she shouldn't even got to in the first place. Hillary Clinton has damaged America. America would have been better if she never rose to power in the first place. But for her, it's just about Hillary Clinton, and it's just about feeling betrayed because she thinks she's above other people. And there's so many sycophants that are so willing and so able on mainstream media or anywhere else to go along with it because it's easy to do so, because doing so will make their lives better, because they don't have anything either, and they are just as small as her.
Absolutely. Paul DuPont.
Wow. So I take that as, okay, I'm going to sum up what Daniel said in a slightly different way. So Hillary Clinton is the elite version. So that is the elite geriatric version of a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, actually, if you listen to it, because I actually sat through that dismal podcast, and she's basically saying, "Oh, Trump's all bad. It's evil. He's a bad person." Thank you for the super chat, Cheryl Tyler. Hillary Clinton has no soul to sell.
It's already gone.
Yeah, it's already gone. So Daniel, yeah, you were
one.
another super chat as well. Dennis Gibson, 53. This is a call to all vets. Time to make your voices heard in defense of your sister, Tulsi Gabbard, Tulsi 2020. You know what? Look. Here's the thing, I've reached out to Tulsi Gabbard campaign, Andrew Yang campaign, and all these other political campaigns too.
Let me make a call out right now, since we got a lot of people in the chat. If you can do a hashtag or something on Twitter and just say to people, "Hey, go to Tulsi's campaign, Tulsi's Twitter, and say, hey, go on Hard Lens Media." We'd appreciate it. We've been trying to reach out to them for a number of months.
Yeah.
Her and Yang and Marianne Williamson as well.
So I have one thought I wanted to add to this, and that is that, so here's the neoliberal logic, reasoning. They will take this Hillary Clinton quote saying that Jill Stein is a Russian asset, that Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian asset.
Well, I mean, because who else are they going to be talking about? Amy Klobuchar?
Right. But here will be how the logic will play out is, I understand that these are claims made in the absence of any evidence. But if it was true, you have to agree it would be bad, right? That's how the logic goes. It's like, well,
if Pizzagate was true, it would be bad too. But
right,
it's
not good logic. It's like, I don't have to substantiate my claims. I'm going to make sure you have to substantiate your claims. If you're going to make a claim, you better have evidence to bring it up. But if Hillary Clinton said it, all I have to say, but if it was true, that would be super bad, right?
By the way, we got another super chat. Richard Williams wanted an analysis. Thank you. I hope it's good. You know, there's another note to add on here too. Look, Representative Tulsi Gabbard as a progressive, as an independent, and as someone who has a very powerful voice on foreign policy. I believe that she has a very solid foreign policy and also a very solid plan on climate change. The direct insult towards her and towards and towards her service, again, it insults every single veteran. And I don't care what said veterans or current active duty service member or what your politics are. This is an insult towards all of us because we don't deserve to have someone who wears a uniform then be called a traitor by people who've never even put on the uniform, who never stood in front of the American flag. Now, look, there's a lot to be said about the military-industrial complex and how it basically is crippling our democracy, too. But when a person who leads by example, who puts on the uniform, wears it with pride, and actually steps up and fights for our freedoms and actually has the courage, the political courage to call out the military-industrial complex, we need to step up for that person. And this is why we got to get involved in this 2020 election cycle. This is why we really need independent media. This is why we got to get money out of politics. This is why we got to get rid of the monopoly that's controlling our media, because they want to return things back to normal. Here's the truth. Tulsi Gabbard is not a Russian spy or an asset. She's not an Assad apologist. She's not any of these things that corporate media has smeared her as. The real truth is this. Corporate media is afraid of Tulsi Gabbard, and they're doing these hit pieces and smear articles since day one in order to appease Clinton, in order to appease the DNC talking points, in order to appease neoliberalism. Because in reality, if corporate media had to tell the truth, well, we wouldn't be in this situation. Hell, I don't think Harlan's media would exist. So I can't thank them enough for their incompetent leadership. And I can't thank them enough for showing who they really are because, again, going further into this election cycle, I'm just going to say it, be prepared to see more smear articles, but be prepared to see also more attacks on Bernie Sanders because if we don't stop this now, if we don't have the courage to call out Clinton and the DNC establishment and corporate media, this will continue on.
You know what's really crazy about all this? How obvious it is. There's so many people. I was just yelling at someone earlier today who thinks that Tulsi is just this person who you should not vote for because she's a Russian spy and because of her father.
So you were having a measured conversation with this person.
Originally, and then I just kept calling them out on all the hatred and the hurt, and they blocked me. And I'm like, if I wasn't hitting a nerve, he wouldn't have blocked me. I just literally 3 times I said, oh, so it sounds like you're full of your hatred is what's driving you, not this. And then it's like, don't ever say that to me again. But my point I'm trying to make is that Tulsi is willing to call the U.S. out for what it is. She's willing to look in the mirror, see the U.S., and not flinch, and not make up mental lies. Oh, we're not an empire. We're a force for good. Oh, we need to be in Iraq and Syria and Iran and
How
all
else will
every
we
other
spread
country.
democracy?
How else will we spread democracy? Homeless kids, they should just be working for themselves. It's their parents' fault. People are so willing to be like that when they have their 9-to-5 job that they are happy enough with and they can go out on the weekends. So one thing I will bring up again that I haven't talked about in a while, very quickly, and I know we're going to go over time anyway.
Yeah,
so,
we are a little over time.
So everything changes when the Depression starts. When it will start, we don't know. Very soon. But when it starts, all this logic, it's amazing how much people will turncoat on people they are sycophants to when they stop getting their treat.
Yep. And also, I think it's very important that we end this a little bit on a lighter note.
We can keep going.
No. But
Oh, for this?
segment,
Oh, yeah.
Here, let's actually go to wide shot. And wait, hold on. We got Denise Gibson. Think of the slaughter and deaths Tulsi faced as a medic during 2 tours.
Yeah.
Hillary, shame on you. Oh, that is true because that's one of the motivations that led Tulsi Gabbard to realize that the invasion of Iraq was a whole bunch of BS.
She
Remember
saw all the bodies.
We were there to find weapons of mass destruction. Now, look, I like to play a lot of video games. I'm not perfect. No one here is perfect. But the one thing I like especially about reading a story or playing a video game is like you got a mission. You always have to get to the end of it. We never found those WMDs. I mean, that's a pretty big effing deal. It's almost like they were never there in the first place. Very similar to those somehow suspicious attacks that Iran did, even though Iran doesn't have the resources to sink those oil tankers. It's almost like This war machine has been putting us and American men and women in uniform in danger for no goddamn reason.
It's almost as if we are the bad guys.
Yeah. And guess who's paying for these wars? Wall Street? The big banks? No. You. The American taxpayer is paying. But we're actually paid for the war in Afghanistan and Iraq.
I have a thing to end this segment on that's perfect.
Yeah.
Tulsi faced blown up troops that Hillary sent to war.
One other thing, too. Because
First statement has never been said.
Okay, I actually want to have a graphic to end this segment on.
All right.
Let's have another Tulsi time.
Tulsi time.
There we go. That should
Yeah.
cheer everybody up.
Aloha, everyone.
Now we're going
Thank
a little
you.
bit overtime, but I think it's very important we cover some of these other stories.
Yeah, let's get through them. We have nothing
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah, so-
hey guys, bonus show.
Bonus.
time.
You dealt with our
Do you have a
long.
bonus show-ish graphic? Like, how about the
Oh,
clipboard?
Bernie. Do Bernie.
I can do Bernie.
Or Dancing Godzilla.
I can
Or
do-
Dancing Bernie. Wait, we don't have that. We have Running Bernie.
Let's do Dancing.
We're on the internet.
There we go. That's
We're on
it.
the
That
internet.
one.
There we go. Bonus stuff. All right.
Dancing Godzilla.
There we go. Some more segments. I mean, we went over time, but I think we had to really rant because I was pissed as hell about the Tulsi Gabbard story. I was just angry, but I'm just glad to get that off my chest. So.